Hello and welcome to another edition of Choose to Challenge. Can you believe we are now in our sixth season? Happy New Year to everyone. And I'm here with my co-host for this episode of Choose to Challenge, which is Mindset Alchemy, the amazing Constance, Connie Wills. How's it going, Connie?
It's going wonderful. What a wonderful and beautiful new year we have. And I am more than excited to be in season 6 of Choose to Challenge, not just to hear it, but actually to be a part of it. I'm so grateful and excited to our beautiful and talented LaWanna Bradford for inviting me here and giving me this awesome opportunity.
Thank you. I'm excited because one of the things just to share with you, Connie, as well as helping our audience to remind them, Choose to Challenge was started 6 years ago because of the Women's History Month. The International Women's History Day was entitled Choose to Challenge. And I wanted to do something to be a part of that celebration. And I ended up interviewing 21 women from 5 nations, the UK, US, Uganda, Bahamas, and Canada. And a TV network saw the episodes and said, hey, we would like to run them. Next thing I knew, they came back and said, would you like to have a show on our network? Well, fast forward, now we have a new home, and we've been with E360 TV for 5 years. We celebrated 5 years with them last year. And we're just excited because Choose to Challenge is all about challenging, number one, mindsets, systems, institutions, everything that may prevent us from elevating and expanding and being the best person we can possibly be. And I'm excited about this particular episode or episodes that we're going to have every single month, the first Monday of every month, Mindset Alchemy, because change all first begins with the mind, right, Connie?
Absolutely. It's mindset first. And most of us, I'm talking about me included, did not realize that until I started doing it, right? And then you think about it. You think about the choices and everything you've made throughout life. And you wonder, where was my mindset then? Where was my mindset at? What was I thinking? What was I putting out? What was I receiving? It all starts with our mind. All does. Absolutely, LaWanna.
Right. And there is a book was As a Man Thinketh. And we know the adage, sow a thought, reap a habit, sow a habit, reap an action, sow an action, reap a destiny. After a habit, reap a destiny. So again, everything first begins in the mind. Everything that we're experiencing, everything in our physical being, right, started first with a thought.
Yes.
I mean, even if we're going back, whether you're a person of faith or not, we're going to just use the biblical story of the creation story. God had a thought. He spoke it. And then it came into being. So we need to think about that mind and then outward expression, connection, and how it ultimately ends up shaping the things that we experience every single day.
That is so true, LaWanna, because where we are today is what we thought yesterday. And that sounds simple, but it really isn't. But it's really a true process of what we thought we were going to be today, what we thought back then. We didn't, and it wasn't a conscious thing like I'm going to be this or I'm going to be that, but it's just our beliefs and our thoughts. We could tell ourselves a million times, I'm going to be a millionaire when I grow up. But if we have that doubting thought in our mind that maybe or hopefully we will not become that. So what we thought before is who we are today. What we brought into our lives before is here now. And I realize it more and more. The older I get, the more involved in this mindset work I get, I see that where I thought I would be, I am.
That was deep. Where you thought you would be. And the word you use, I am. I am. That is such a powerful statement. In fact, even when I'm teaching my niece and nephew, when you introduce yourself, don't say, my name is. I am LaWanna Bradford. There's a certain sense of power that comes with that, versus my name is. It's sort of passive. But who are you, right? And that's kind of a little intimidating when you think that all those thoughts shape this I am moment. And I know when I first started learning about this years ago, Connie, and I don't know how you felt about it, I was a little resistant. I'm like, wait a minute, this wasn't all me. There's no way. But even from, our childhood, there are those impressions that end up shaping how we view the world.
Absolutely. And that is exactly, I have gone through that. Even sometimes now I'm a little resistant when something pops in my mind that the reason that's happening, Constance, is because of you, because I'm aware of it now. And I'm just like, I'm like, that's my fault too. And it's not that it's my fault. It's just where my mind was. So I have to reel it back in. I have to reel those thoughts back in because they want to go a little crazy. Got to reel them back in and say, because of what you believed. It could have been conditioning. It could have been environment, just like you just said, LaWanna. Our childhoods, everything shaped us. And we weren't aware of it necessarily, but we were reaping the world that we believed we would reap. We're reaping that. So now that I know, even relationships that were like turned out a little wonky, I have to take my part. I have to own it. Own that my belief, my thoughts, whatever brought that to me. I have to own it. And that's tough to own sometimes. Yeah, that causes resistance, right? But we can all overcome resistance to change. We definitely can. But
well, we're going to pull away for a moment, but we're going to come back with today's episode, New Year, New Mindset, New You. We'll be right back. All right, I'm here with my co-host for this episode of Mindset Alchemy. New year, new mindset, new you. This is Choose the Challenge, so we're going to dig a little deep. It may make you feel a little uncomfortable, but that's where change, growth, and expansion happens. We got to get you out of that comfort zone, right? Right, Connie?
Absolutely. And it will be a little uncomfortable, and it's okay. We've all been uncomfortable too. And let me tell you a secret. We're going to be uncomfortable in the future. We're going to be uncomfortable again. It's okay. Give yourself grace, because here we go. We're going to go deep this year. Give yourself grace.
Yes. Well, let's just start off with the basics, right? New year. What has everyone, not everyone, but most people, coming up with their New Year's resolutions? What I'm going to do. Got their goals, got their vision board. They're excited. But we know, based upon studies, that within 30 to 45 days, we've fallen off the wagon. We've gone back to, what was comfortable. Or maybe we allowed fear to get in the way and we suddenly started to second guess ourselves. What do you have to say about that, Connie?
Yes. There have been so many years. This year was not one that I made a resolution. And just like LaWanna just said, I started off powerful. I'm going to go to the gym. Gym is always a good resolution. A lot of us do that. Fitness, health, gym, weight loss. That was one of my resolutions, probably maybe 10, 15 years in a row. And by day number, I'd say 10, maybe, I started slacking off. And I would say, oh, it's okay. Just do it every other day. And then do it every 3 days. Then pretty soon you're not doing it at all. So yes, that new year, new you. I personally, at this point, don't believe in resolutions. I just believe in making my mind up and making small adjustments, small movements, small steps to whatever goal is or dream that I want to get to. Just small little tweaks. I also believe in celebrating every success. Every success. And most of us don't do that with our own selves. We think, oh, it was nothing. If you rode a bike for a mile today and you have never done that before, that's a success. Some people, they ride it for 26, 50, whatever miles. That's okay. That's them. look at yourself. Do not compare yourself to anyone else. But the first thing I think, new year, new you, for me, is new mindset every day. New mindset, knowing that I can get up every day and still change my mind. I can get up every day and still believe something new and work toward it. I don't have to look at myself as, well, I didn't accomplish that. Oh, well, all is lost. I can try it again tomorrow. So I think that's part of the new, is starting to know that we can always try again. We can always do it. It might not happen this month. That's okay. I worked toward it this month. So let's get in the shape, in the space, in the mind space. In the mind space, that first of all, we can. It's got to be a deep belief. We have to believe in ourselves so authentically that we can. That's the first step. Now, we can, but a lot of times we won't. Don't believe it's impossible. The can't, I can't versus I won't, that's a dichotomy. It's something that a lot of us say I can't, but really it's I won't.
Yeah, that's huge. And well, I just want to put out this disclaimer that we are here for entertainment purposes only. We are not therapists, we are not counselors, and we're not mental health advisors, but we're advocates of mental well-being. We're allies to the community, and we know that it's important that we empower ourselves by taking hold and ownership of our mindset. And sometimes we need to have people to help us. So we put some information here below, 800-662-4357, or text 988 if you're in the US and feel that you're in crisis mode or need help. This is a resource below that you can tap into and get whatever support that you need. But back to what Connie was saying with mindset, let's just break that down. Some people are like, well, what actually is it? You know, it's the buzzword. It's the thing to say the day. So mindset and mental wellness are actually separate things. Mental wellness is or mental challenges or illness can be a byproduct of a mindset issue. And I'm saying can be because we know there's some neurological disorders and things that can happen that can impact someone's mental well-being. We are focused on mindset, meaning having the ability to shape your reality by changing your thoughts, changing the programs, reprogramming yourself with the belief system that you want to have. And that can be a little challenging. I'm going to toss the ball to you, Connie, especially when we're brought up in certain environments and we've been conditioned, this is the way things should be. And you fall in line. And I'll use something simple that I think most people can relate to. What do most parents tell their children after they graduate from high school? You go to school, you get a good education, you get a job. What's the next step? Then you get married, then you have children. I mean, there is like an order that parents are programming us, whether they think they are or not. Most people can say, yep, we must have all been at the same dinner table having the same conversation, right?
Yeah, man, you just brought something back. That was powerful. You brought that back to me. I was at the same dinner table having the same conversation, apparently, that you had. And you know what? I did the same thing with my daughter. The exact same thing. Wow. High school, you graduate, college, then you're supposed to graduate, get a job, then get a husband if you want that, right? And then children, and then move on. Of course, we didn't go that route. I didn't, nor her, but that was what I was taught. And you know what? College is not for everybody. And I had to, even now, I'm still fighting that mindset right now because I still think they should go to college after high school, all of them. But I'm fighting that mindset because that is not everybody's truth. It's not everybody's course to graduate high school, go to college. find a nice job, then find a husband or wife. Then it's not everybody's. It's not everybody's path. But it is a mindset that we were brought up with, a lot of us. Now, not everybody was, but we were brought up with that mindset. And just what you were saying, LaWanna, as far as it just being that we do have the ability to change our mindset. And that's big. That's major, that we have the ability to do that, that we can actually learn to transform our thoughts to the life that we want to have. And I'm not talking about just material things. I'm even talking about happiness and peace and the things that are not tangible, comfort, security. Because, a lot of our mindsets, I know for me, for a fact, it happened. A lot of our mindsets lead us to be very insecure and very nervous. And just because we're always thinking something bad is going to happen, we're wondering, when is the shoe going to drop? Things are too good now. Something's got to happen now, but that's still mindset. We know life happens. We get that.
Let's jump into that right there. Like you said, there's this fear. That's all fear-based. And, what if? Well, the question that individual may need to ask themselves, or if you are there as a support, what caused that person to have that mindset? To wonder, well, if I do this, I just know something's going to happen. Murphy's always in the room. Think about people in the language that they use. Why? That you weren't born thinking negatively, but something conditioned you to do that. Studies have shown that children hear more no in the first year of life than they do yeses. More no. Don't do that. No. And it's funny because when I had my niece and nephew, and people thought I was crazy, but I said no is a bad word in this house. I never use no. I found another way to express what I didn't want them to do. But you could not, because no was considered. And I would tell them it's a bad word. I wanted them to think broader than no, because most kids, if you're like, no, why not? I didn't want them to ask me why not. If I'm setting authority or a boundary, I would explain, you touch that, you're going to get burned. You do this, you may end up cutting yourself and we'll have to take you to the hospital and get stitches. So when all of that, I just explained to you why you shouldn't do something. And if you do, this is going to be the consequence. Now you make the choice. But again, that was something I consciously did because I was thinking about just me and how many times I heard no. And then when you ask our generation, you didn't ask your parents why not. Because then what would you get? Because I said so.
Yes. Oh my goodness. That was never a matter of fact, that was called talking back.
Right.
I hear some back talk.
Right.
Yeah. So that we never did that. That is so powerful. I love how you framed and how you helped your niece and nephew to not even hear that word no a lot. I love that you framed the care for them in that way. Instead of saying, no, you're going to fall. No, don't touch. No. You said, if you do this, this is what's going to happen. That makes sense. I was just thinking when you were talking about that, about my youngest granddaughter, she is thinking that she can walk and do everything, and babies, they don't have that fear that is put into us, right? So you can just see on her face, I've been recording her a lot lately, just doing stuff because she's hilarious. And you can see when she pauses and thinks, okay, I'm going to just step over there. Mind you, she doesn't walk yet by herself. So even last night, she was just trying to just walking all over the couch and just doing stuff and standing up with one hand, sometimes no hands. She was just showing out. And when you said that, LaWanna, I was just thinking, instead of saying no to her, just say, be careful, because she's not going to really know she's not going to know that if she falls, she's going to the hospital yet. But just be careful. let's move. So I'm going to put that into practice with her, because I've never done it with any other grandkids. The no was, and then you said, that's a no, that's a no. And so then what's the first word they learn is no. It's usually daddy and no, but no.
Right.
No. So I had never thought of it that way. That is so powerful and unique. I love that. I really love that.
Let's stick with your granddaughter. So with when we're going back with fear, really think about little kids. So they're learning how to walk or whatever they're doing, and they fall. First thing they do is they turn and they look. When they see us, all of a sudden they start screaming and the tears come. But if you notice, if you don't react and just look at them, they're suddenly like, oh, I'm okay. I mean, and I'm not talking about a serious fall, but I mean, if it's just, you just fall. And then they end up laughing, or you laugh with them and they get up. But they feed off of our energy, which, believe it or not, starts shaping their experiences. And in their own little way, they start translating. And it starts to build and build and build. And you wonder, like, again, I'll use Madison and Mason. Madison was a daredevil. Mason was scared. Why? Well, it was the way they were possibly handled. I don't know. But what's interesting, because she was a daredevil, so she ended up doing gymnastics. Even though he was scared, he wanted to break that fear by becoming a martial artist. And he's a 2nd-degree black belt.
Love it.
But he wanted that.
Yes.
Again, I remember even my brother was telling him, because, when kids get into martial arts and they're very young, they're just jumping around. They're not really processing the discipline of it. And my brother told him, he said, I don't, you're just wasting time. You're not, I don't think you're going to do anything with this. And Mason turned to him, and there was a big poster on the wall. So again, eye gates, ear gates, kids are watching. And the poster was a martial art, actually it was Bruce Lee. And it said, a black belt is a white belt that never quit. And Mason turned, this is Mason's defiant moment at age 5, turned to his father and said, no, Daddy, read that. And I just sat back and thought, wow. But what if he had thought, well, you're right. This isn't for me. And that happens a lot. And I don't think as parents or care providers, we have intention on doing that. But it does happen. Again, we've impressed a pattern and expectation on a young mind. And then suddenly this mindset is established. Well, I'm not worthy. I'm not deserving. Yeah, you're right. I probably will fail at that. And then we wonder, why did they fail? Why do they lack self-confidence? And I don't have children, so I'm going to toss it to you, because you have a daughter and grandchildren.
It's awesome. Your analogy was absolutely perfect. Even relating that fear to how we put it in there little by little. We do that as adults, and we don't have to be, like you said, parents. My sister is, she's the auntie in our family, but she's the auntie. Everybody calls her auntie. And she puts a lot of wonderful things in children's lives. However, I'm just thinking what you just said about the fear. And then, what came to me, LaWanna, was automatic negative thinking. So that, I think, is one of the roots of the ant thinking. I think fear is a major root of that. And we don't of course, we don't put it together or pick it up. But the things we say, no, you're going to get hurt. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't. And they hear the don'ts and the no's so much till it gets in their subconscious. And I know it got in my subconscious, in their subconscious. And they, therefore, a new opportunity, a new challenge arises. But what comes up first in the mind? I don't know if I can do that, or I can't do that. Those are the things that normally come up first. I don't know if I can do that. I don't know. Because I know throughout life, for me, things I know I could have done, But when they came up, because they were new experiences, maybe something I'd never done, it would be automatically, I don't know if I can do it. Or automatically, even something as simple as running cross country in middle school. It was mandatory. We had to do it for PE. But the first thing everybody would be talking about, oh, that's too far. That's too far. I can't run it. Someone was asking me recent, have I ever ran a mile straight? I said, I don't know, because I know I took a lot of stops doing cross country and stuff, because I'd already in my mind, I can't do that. So instead of trying to do it, actually, I would do a little bit, then I feel a little bit of the challenge, a little bit of the tired, and then you just stop. I can't do this. I can't do this. So that thinking does come from what we learn. The ant thinking, the automatic negative thinking, is a byproduct of, I believe, fear. I'm sure it's a byproduct of a lot of other things, but fear, I think, is one of I think that just really shapes us, and we don't want to admit that. It shapes our mind. Fear shapes us, and it's something that we have to deal with ourselves individually in our own individual ways, because it has shaped many of us. Now, there are some people I know, very few in life, they start out as little ones. Their parents don't put the nose on them. They don't feel that negative in their environment. They don't feel like they can't do anything. So when they grow up, they already have that attitude. I can do it. I can do it. I was talking to someone else recently about my youngest grandson. He already has the I can attitude. And I look at him many times and I beam, because I see him. I mean, he's bought a gigantic football championship ring for himself, and it's too big for any of his fingers, but he still wears it. And I even told him, Journey, you're going to lose that. No, I'm not, Nani. I'm careful with my stuff. So I had to pull back. I was like, okay, I'm not going to throw that on him then. I'm not going to throw that attitude like you're going to lose stuff on him, because that's me speaking it out of a place of fear of experience maybe that I've had. So I said, wow. I said, even that, saying something like that, you're going to lose this. Those shape us. Those.
Yeah, we're speaking. It's like you can speak life or you can speak death, right? Yes. It's like, what about, hey, great, I know you're going to take care of that. Your little ring, because it's like that's his thing that he's developing, and his way of affirming that vision that he has for himself. He's embodying his future self as young as he is. And as you were talking, I thought about going back in the day with Star Wars, with Luke Skywalker and Yoda, and when he was attempting to raise the fighter jet. And he turned to Yoda and he's like, I can't, I'll try. And Yoda says, there is no try. There's only do. And it's so even just the word choice, I'll try to do it. Just do it. You either will or you won't, but do. Trying is like, it's like, that's not really committing. That's throwing out a softball intention. I'll try. But if you say, I will, again, it's something, the word choice is very, very, very powerful. And, going back to, I told you with Dad, and I have that video. My dad had gotten out of the hospital and there was this muscle wasting and they were like, oh, he's not going to walk again, blah, blah, blah. And I have a video of him, and it was one of the most powerful videos that I have of him. And he looked dead in that camera and he said, I will walk again. I mean, just such a sense of knowing. And he looked at me and there was a little tear in his eye. And I said, yes, you will. And he said, yes. And he did.
Yes.
So it's that. I mean, and I think you and I were talking about the word impossible. I am possible, right?
Yes.
I'm possible. So this is all, and some of you may think, that's, that's basic. But if it's so basic, why are so many missing it? Yes. Why have we crippled ourselves because we're holding on to that to that comfort zone, to the familiar.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to share this with you, and then I'll have you just share back what I shared with you earlier. Is coming into this new year, and this I'm being very, very transparent, folks. Coming into this new year, I didn't want to come into 2025. And I'm not saying from a suicidal standpoint, I didn't want to come into 2025 because I lost my dad in 2024, the end of 2024. And I was fine as fine can be with everything else. But suddenly the knowledge that I'm getting ready to enter a new year, a new phase, and my dad would never experience this year with me and the years to come, did a head trip on me. I mean, my emotions were just a wreck. And I was trying my best to hold on to 2024 to the point that I'm in Eastern Standard Time, watching the ball drop here, waiting and watching it drop in Arizona, watching it, and like I really changed something. But I was trying to hold on because that's where Dad was, and I knew I can't bring Dad into 2025 with me. That's a mindset thing.
Yes.
And I had to get myself back into a place, and this is very unfamiliar. I'm still on very shaky ground. But when you've done the work and you have the tools, you recognize it. And it's like, okay, I got to give myself grace. I may need to have someone that I'm consulting with to help me through this, with the knowledge that this is the first of possibly many years of my life that my dad will never be in the year with me. So again, just showing you how situations, circumstances can even impact our mindset. Connie.
When you just said that, LaWanna, what you're going to do moving forward, and I know you're already working on this, you're going to reframe that story around your father and you and your father's relationship to carry into every year with you, even though you know you'll never experience 2024 where he is physically there. You too can reframe that story. And that's what we have to do sometimes. We have to reframe a story in our mind to make it work for where we are at the time. And that's okay. Reframe that story. A lot of times it's painful. Reframe that scar. Make that scar work for you instead of looking at it as a negative. That's also mindset. And that will put you in a positive space, a more powerful space regarding whatever the issue might be that you have to reframe a story around. The beauty of our minds, it's the most, it's the highest level computer in the universe. We were given the computer of all computers. Many of us don't look at ourselves that way. We are giving the creative tool of all creative tools. This mind, our mindset, creative. But we definitely can reframe our past so we can move it into our future in a powerful way.
I like that.
And that's what we all have, because we're adults. We're older adults. We have quite a past. Everybody does. We do. Whereas my 10-month-old granddaughter, she has not much of a past, 10 months. So her mindset is just open, positive. She believes, I think, in that little mind, I'm going to call it big mind. I'm not going to say little mind. I said little because she's a little person. But in her big mind, she believes she can do anything. She doesn't even know what anything is yet. Here we are. We know what a lot of things are, and we've put limits on ourselves already that we can't do. So let's reframe that. Let's start working on reframing some of the things that we've already said we can't, we're not good enough, whatever self-doubt talk that plays in your ears sometimes. I know it plays in my ears as well. Those things that play, let's reframe that. I can. I will. I haven't tried yet. It's not hard. It's easy, but I just haven't tried to do it yet. Let's reframe that. Even the areas that are painful.
Yes.
Let's reframe that pain so it doesn't negatively impact our mindsets.
I have a shirt that it's got fluorescent writing on the back when I'm walking, and I got it at an Oprah conference, and it says, I can, I will, watch me. We'll be right back.
Yes.
Okay, well, we are back. I'm here with my co-host for Mindset Alchemy, the first episode of Mindset Alchemy, which will come every first Monday of the month on Choose to Challenge, the amazing Connie Wells. And we were talking about everything begins with our mindset, how we perceive the world, what we believe, and how we believe, whatever we believe is how we end up showing up in the world. It's how we respond to the world. And it's so important that we take ownership and accountability. And as I mentioned, and even Connie said earlier, that's not a good place to be. You know, it's easy to say, well, it was mom and dad's fault, or it was, but at what point do you say, okay, I realize this is an issue. Let me do the work and find out why it even came to be. And sometimes that work is challenging. You got to go back to that maybe little girl, little boy who was hurt, who was impressed, that caused you to think a certain way. And with that, that's why we want to really emphasize this is just for infotainment purposes. Choose to challenge. We are not therapists. We are not healthcare specialists, but we do know that there is a need. People are hungry and want the tools. Please reach out to your medical professional. If you feel that you're in a state of crisis and you're here in the U.S., call 800-662-4357 or text 988. Connie, back to you.
Yes. I'm just going to follow that up real quickly with, if there's trauma that has happened in your life, and all of us have experienced some level of it, but if there's some trauma that you've experienced that you really need help getting out of, do not hesitate to see a therapist. Do not hesitate to see a counselor so they can help you unpack that, so you can get to the place where you can start working on your mindset. So don't hesitate. Don't let anyone ever tell you that that is wrong for you to do. I know certain communities don't embrace mental health therapy, counseling groups, but please, if you feel like you need it, reach out. There's so many ways to get help right now. Reach out. Therapists, counselor groups, online, in person. There's so many ways. Don't just leave that to chance. Don't just let it sit there, because we want you to be the best you can be. But to be that person, we have to let go of that trauma or work through it. I won't say let go. I'll say work through that trauma so we can start working toward our future. So I just wanted to follow up on that.
No, that's important. And I want to share this. I found this really interesting. I was talking to a potential, I would call it a stakeholder partnership. And so they are going to, or proposing to provide a certain service for me and my company. But they have one caveat. They don't partner with anyone that does anything that helps with emotional or mental well-being. And I said, well, I'm not in the medical line or anything. I said, but I am an advocate and an ally. And I am in partnership with the National Alliance of Mental Illness. I said, because we've got to change the narrative. We have to be willing to have conversations to let people know it's okay to be okay. And they said, well, is that one of your main platforms? I said, no, but whenever I see a need, I have no problem, encouraging people to get the support that they need. And they said, oh, if you're going to continue down that path, we can't do business with you. I thought, okay, well, that's okay. To me, it's not worth getting paid $1 to silence my voice. Again, I'm not professing to be a psychologist or a mental health provider or even a mental health expert, even though I'm trained in sociology, but that's dealing with dynamics and human interactions. There is some credibility there. I have worked in the social work environment. Connie has worked in the criminal justice system. We do have some training, but again, we are not coming here providing you the solutions. We're having a conversation about how you can be your best self. And some of those lessons are from our journey, our walk. And we're going to have guests on the show also, just to talk about their perspectives, as well as experts in the field on how you can improve your mindset so that you can live a wonderful, vibrant, impactful, and powerful life. Connie.
Absolutely. We are still looking forward to this year, again, to unpack this. We just touched on several subjects today, but it's new year, new mindset, new you. So we've touched on some things that we're going to delve in deeper. Might be a little more informational in the future about certain subjects. If you have questions, reach out and ask. We can definitely weave those into the show as well if you have questions. But one thing definitely is that we are not professionals in therapists or counseling. LaWanna did talk about a little bit of that. I worked in criminal justice. I was in probation for almost in criminal justice for 35 years almost, but probation probably for maybe 32 of those. And I dealt with people who were definitely suffering all sorts of mindset issues. A lot of it needed to be taken care of by therapists and counselors first, but a lot of it just having someone in their life to speak life to them. They started working on their own once they had somebody that believed in them. A lot of us don't have that. We don't have someone who believes we can. And so sometimes it takes just that, somebody that believes you can. And we are here. We believe you can. And anything we say on here that can help you, please use it. I always say, people, chew the meat, spit out the bones. Not everything is for everybody. Eat the meat. If you're not vegetarian, if you're vegetarian, I'm not sure what to tell you. Chew I don't know what, tofu. I'm not sure. Spit out I'm not sure, but chew the meat, spit out the bones. Get what's good for you. What works for me might not work for you, and that's okay. That's why we're so unique, and we're here in this space to help you to understand you can be the best you, the most unique, best, and you can have the life that you want, the life that you've always dreamed of when you start working on your mindset. It's not a magic trick. It doesn't happen overnight. It's work. And many times, as LaWanna said, it's uncomfortable work. Sometimes it's work that's going to make you want to cry and think, why did I do that? But you know what? After you cry, after you said why, you hug that person you used to be. You love her or him. You tell them it's okay that you made the decisions you made when you made them. Because had you not made those, I wouldn't be here today. So love your old self, but know that there's a greater version of you that will come as a result of doing some mindset work.
Yes. So we're going to take one quick break before we sign off. I love that.
Are you ready to defy gravity and challenge the impossible? Meet LaWanna Bradford, the visionary leader behind Choose to Challenge on E360 TV. Now in its 5th season, this groundbreaking show shines a spotlight on voices of change from across the globe. Born during the pandemic, Choose to Challenge becomes a platform for transformation where no topic is off limits. Every episode highlights individuals breaking barriers, rewriting narratives, and making an impact. Ready to share your story and inspire change? Call 404-618-2824 to become a guest. This is your moment to rise. Tune in now at e360tv.com. Your voice matters. Let's change the world together.
Well, can you believe we are at that point to say goodbye? It's been great, Connie. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm excited to see what is next for Choose to Challenge, especially for Mindset Alchemy and how it's going to unfold. We have 11 episodes left. We're coming on again once a month. So right now it may change. We may do it more frequently. But as Connie mentioned, if you have questions, if you have show ideas that you would like, reach out to me on Facebook, LaWanna Bradford or Connie Constance Wills, and let us know. And we will. This show is about all of us, right? We can learn from each other. And so I want to encourage you to keep striving, be the best you that you can be. Remember, it first starts with the decision. That's sometimes the hardest thing for us to do, the decision to change, to shift those paradigms, change the narrative, and know that when your vision intersects with opportunity, success is inevitable. I'll see you next week for another edition of Choose the Challenge, and Connie will see you next month. Be safe and be well.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.